Okay, it looks like we are live. So hopefully my microphone is working in this live stream because last time I had a severe case of what I'll call Mickey Mouse syndrome, where occasionally my webcam's microphone goes crazy and makes me sound like Mickey Mouse or something. Um, but yeah, so this is going to be a live stream. Anybody can ask me any question that they may have, and I will answer it live. Until more people get on here and I get more questions in the live chat, I suppose I will just start talking about a random subject that might be on my mind. Feel free to ask me any questions as I go along, and I will answer them. So, I get a lot of foolish comments on my videos, particularly from vegans. Just recently, I had a vegan comment on my video telling me that ketogenic diets are carbohydrate deficient. I have nothing against carbohydrates whatsoever. In fact, everybody should know by now the Okinawans eat a large amount of carbohydrates and have some of the highest life expectancy in the world. Even though the food data is actually from a post-war famine and can't be trusted, but they eat a lot of carbs and they have a high life expectancy. But there's no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. There's many studies that actually show low carbohydrates increase lifespan through various mechanisms, and many mechanisms are directly correlative to great health, including greater insulin sensitivity. Yes, I am live. Great observation. Feel free to ask me whatever questions you might have. So I had a particular comment from a vegan saying basically that you need carbohydrates for energy, and that without carbohydrates, keto dieters would basically die without coffee. The funny thing about that is if you needed carbohydrates for any sort of energy production in the body, you would basically just die. Coffee is not going to stop your body from dying of an essential nutrient deficiency. So, obviously I explained the efficiency of a ketogenic metabolism. Your body essentially has over 40,000 calories worth of energy. More than that, actually, from athletes on a ketogenic diet, they got a DEXA scan. And on glucose-based metabolism, generally people can only store 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 calories at a time in their blood glucose, in their liver glycogen, and in their muscle glycogen. So where do you get more? So who has more energy? The person who's getting their energy from 80,000 calories of stored body fat, or the person getting their calories from 2,000 calories worth of glucose that they can store? Obviously, the person on a ketogenic diet. There's many championship keto adapted athletes. There's studies by, and particularly endurance athletes, world champions, gold medalists, etc. In fact, there was a really awesome little video, I think, on a channel called Fuel or called Munchies, where they looked at a ultra Ironman athlete who ate a fat adapted diet. He was this hippie looking guy, and took you to Whole Foods and showed what he eats in a day, which was amazing. And this person said, "Oh, you're not going to win any races on a ketogenic diet." Yeah, actually, that's what ketogenic diets are best for, is people doing endurance athleticism. Then you have people like me who do powerlifting and who do MMA, and I've been on a ketogenic diet since December, so it's been about 6 months. My Fitbit just notified me I hit my calorie goal for the day, 3,051 calories. Probably about 400 of those calories that I burnt on my Fitbit today was from my, it was like 15-mile bike ride. All of my markers of performance have gone up on a ketogenic diet since I started. My endurance in MMA, my powerlifting performance and strength has increased. I haven't lost any explosiveness at all. I tried carb ups a couple of times, and The carb ups did not work or didn't really give me much of a benefit. Okay, so Kathy Crack Corn, you say, I need to gain weight. It is a struggle. Okay, well, please tell me, what exactly does your diet consist of right now? Just in the little comment thing, tell me, what does a full day of eating look like for you? Okay, just summarize, your breakfast, lunch, like meal by meal, what do you eat every day? Do you have any digestive problems? Do you exercise? What kind of foods do you eat? Weight gain is a very easy thing to conquer when you understand how it works. The thing is, most people are doing some very counterproductive things to gaining weight and aren't recognizing what they're doing. I have a lot of friends actually who, I get them going to the gym or whatever, and they want to build muscle, and they think that they just have a fast metabolism, and they're wondering why they can't gain muscle. Like, I do too much on top of it. What? Okay, Kathy Crack Corn says, like a fuck bird. I do too much on top of it. I don't know what you just said. So, Kathy Crack Corn, please just give me a rundown of a typical day of eating for you, please. Or at least what type of, how much food do you normally eat a day, or what types of food? If you can, just give me meal by meal what you ate today or what you ate yesterday. I have an egg every day, toast, and a dinner meal. If you can be more specific, I'd appreciate that. I don't know what a dinner meal consists of. One egg and one toast is obviously not going to help you gain weight. If you're just eating one egg, one toast, and then an undisclosed dinner meal every day, that is why you're not gaining weight. One egg, one toast, you're definitely not going to gain weight if that's all you're eating. And by the way, I would cut out the wheat. I would cut out the grains. I have no appetite. Okay. Well, so again, I would highly recommend you just list a full day of eating for me so that I can get an idea of why your appetite might be weak. So you say you have no appetite. So typically, when somebody has a low appetite, so appetite is something that's completely regulated by how many times a day you eat. Okay. So if you eat at a certain time every day, your body will release hunger hormones that regulate the time of day you naturally get hungry. And so hunger hormones are a lot like melatonin, the sleep hormone. They don't induce hunger or don't induce sleep. It actually programs your body, your rhythm. Like, at this time every day, I eat this much food. So if you eat 200 calories worth of food at 5 a.m. every morning, your body will start to get used to that. And then every morning you will crave 500 calories. That is how appetite works. If you want to increase your appetite, what you do is you start eating as many calories, or you eat more calories more frequently. And even with no appetite, eat as much as you can handle for that given moment. Okay. And eat foods that are high in calories but low in satiation. Okay. So what that means is foods that you can eat a lot of calories but don't keep you full, and eat them on a frequent basis. Okay. It's very hard to eat a ton of food every 2 hours. It's very easy, though, to eat a little bit of food every hour. And if you do this, you'll notice your appetite will start to increase drastically within a short amount of time. Another thing, though, and there's many things I can tell you about increasing appetite. using food, and food timing does actually play a huge role in it. Search up leptin and ghrelin, which are the two hunger hormones. So the type of foods you eat also play a role. If you have low stomach acid, so symptoms of low stomach acid would actually be acid reflux. They would be nausea. They would be feelings of excessive fullness while you're eating, especially in regards to animal protein. If you have a history of acid reflux and acid use. Also, if you drink alkaline water. A lot of people don't know this, but alkaline waters typically have sodium bicarbonate or baking soda added to them to increase the pH. So they can legally say that their water has a 9.0 pH when it's actually the pH, the alkalinity is created from the baking soda. So if you consume alkaline water with baking soda added, think about what's going to happen to your stomach acid. It's going to no longer be acidic. It's going to turn into it's going to become alkalized. You don't want alkaline stomach acid. So stop drinking alkaline water if you are. Don't take any antacids, blah, blah, blah. Because your stomach acid is directly correlated with your appetite and how well you can digest certain foods, how fast you can digest it, how efficiently you can digest it, and not to mention methylation, cancer cell turnover, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, don't drink alkaline water is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, eat more calories more frequently and eat calorie-dense foods on a more frequent basis. Don't eat foods that you might be intolerant to. I would tell you eat more fruits, eat more potatoes, eat more sweet potatoes, eat more jasmine rice, add olive oil to your meals, to your carbohydrates especially, and consume more animal protein. Find animal proteins that you can enjoy, and don't worry too much about food quality, because that can kind of stress you about food unnecessarily. Okay, so I'm gonna continue on. Feel free to clarify further specifics, Kathy Crack Corn, so I can answer your question in more detail. But food frequency and more calories more often is probably going to increase your appetite and help you gain weight. So Ningle28. Can you share any thoughts on ginkgo biloba? Okay, so first of all, I highly recommend you search for my channel name, Chalice of Immortality, in combination with ginkgo biloba in the title. And I have like 20 videos on ginkgo biloba. My general thoughts on ginkgo biloba, though, just so you know, is summary. It is amazing for circulation, but more specifically, I've noticed ginkgo biloba increases my focus, and it seems to increase dopamine efficiency. I've seen some pretty compelling research that says ginkgo biloba increases the dopamine receptor density, I believe. And I believe that it helps to nullify dopamine tolerance. So it sensitizes dopamine, essentially. So that's really great for people who suffer from addictions, et cetera, et cetera. So I like ginkgo biloba. I notice motivation and positive mood benefits from it, which is something a lot of people don't seem to report. And my favorite ginkgo biloba form would probably be, I take the tincture, and I've also taken the dry herb extract in a capsule form from Now Foods and from Herb Farm, their tinctures. And I noticed the best benefits taking high doses. So I was taking like 4 dropperfuls a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. And then I also started to combine the capsules, so the 120 milligram extract. So I am going to continue. All right, Apollo Ra. Apollo Ra. I like that. Did ashwagandha increase your libido? So the interesting thing first of all, it's going to depend on the type of extract. Second of all, it's going to depend on your own body and how long you've been taking ashwagandha, the brand of ashwagandha, and the preparation method. But essentially, what I noticed, because I have a recent video, if you haven't seen it, go and check. In the last couple of days, I released it, where I did the 2-month ashwagandha or 2-week ashwagandha experience. What I noticed is greater relaxation, greater mental energy. In regards to libido, I didn't notice like the type of libido enhancing effects that I experienced from things like maca, or that I experience from yohimbe or something like that. Okay. It increased my libido in a sense that I wanted more like real intimate relationship, and it increased my ability to have healthy sex, I suppose, versus like craving these weird fantasies that like pornography kind of promotes. But when I had sex on ashwagandha, it was amazing. It's just that it wasn't like that libido enhancement that you get when you take certain aphrodisiacs that make you like super horny all the time, like yohimbe will do. Okay. So to answer your question, I don't really recommend ashwagandha as a libido enhancer. I've never noticed extreme libido enhancements with ashwagandha. In fact, it made me cry a lot, and it made me nostalgic. It made me cry a lot, dude. So yeah. All right. Black Snow Films. Hey, when does ashwagandha improve brain power? All right, that's a great question. Thank you very much. Ashwagandha improved my brain power probably within the first day of taking it, probably within an hour after. And this I'm particularly referring to my 2-week experiment that was done recently. Essentially, it's the dry herb powder, not even an extract, but I made it into a tea, which typically when you make teas out of herbs, they tend to kick in faster. And it just increased my mental clarity and the quantity of thoughts and the ease at sorting through these thoughts. But again, I don't recommend ashwagandha. After the first week, it just started making me feel all kinds of weird and messed up. So, tax exemptions. Nice name. Thoughts on mycelium? Wait a second. Yeah, mycelium C. Okay, first of all, that's a great question. If you're asking me my thoughts on taking a mushroom in the mycelium form versus taking the mushroom as the fruiting body, tax exemptions, please clarify your question. But if you're asking me what my thoughts are on taking a mycelium, a version of a mushroom, what I would tell you is don't waste your money. I would tell you if you're going to buy mushroom supplements, buy the fruiting body. Okay, traditionally, these mushrooms like reishi and cordyceps, lion's mane, chaga, they've all been the fruiting body. That is the form of the mushroom you want to take, the part of it. I know about Paul Stamets. I've taken mycelium, and it's hit or miss depending on what you're taking. I don't recommend it. Spend your money on a more expensive, high-quality fruiting body extract. But clarify your question if hopefully I answered it properly. Tax exemptions. Thank you. Okay, Mark Jacobs. Maca and NoFap. Have you been successful with that? That's a great question. I love talking about NoFap. So, yeah. So, maca and NoFap together. Maca root makes me feel very manly, makes me feel very, have an aggressive energy. It makes me feel like more testosterone features. Like, I can understand why so many people makes me feel great. I recommend that brand. I've tried many different extracts and types of maca, and most of them suck. If you get the wrong maca, it will ruin your NoFap, and it'll make you feel very stressed out. It's weird. NoFap, I've been very successful with. In particular, the key to NoFap is number one, removing porn from your life. It's not really fapping that has the worst impact. Okay, fapping alone isn't really horrible for you. Okay, there are benefits to semen retention, absolutely. And maca root will actually increase your semen. Maca root will actually increase your semen volume, and there has actually been shown in studies. Tribulus will also do that. Yes, my girlfriend. um, really, it's amazing. Like when I take maca and tribulus together, like my semen volume when I ejaculate is like millions of tablespoons. It's not millions of tablespoons. Sorry, probably my semen volume doubles, maybe triples. Especially if you combine it with NoFap. If you combine maca and NoFap, do you realize how much semen you will skeet? Okay. Also, it just improves your mood overall. The combination. But yeah, NoFap I've been real successful with. Remove porn, and that's probably the majority of the battle. I keep a calendar where I mark down every time I relapse, and I haven't relapsed in forever. So the other part of NoFap, okay, TOT Hydra, ask your question, please. Anyway, Mark Jacobs, the other part besides the removing porn from your life is having a great life. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Everyone should look that up. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The very first thing one of the very first things they taught in the first month of my psychology class when I was in my first month of college, they taught Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is a basic pyramid, a basic hierarchy, which shows you a blueprint for your happiness. And if you follow Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you focus on self-development, focus on developing passion in your life, getting your life handled, it makes you feel inspired, it makes you feel passionate, and you don't want to waste your time watching porn or jacking off. You want to spend your time finding a quality partner, building a relationship with that quality partner, and then removing the evil and removing anything that distracts you from your goals and from your life fulfillment. So that's what happens with my success on NoFap. That's what's up. Thank you for your question, Marks Jacobs. Okay. Soko 8025. What supplements have you found overall to be the most beneficial? Okay, I like that question a lot, but you realize I'll spend like an hour talking about all the different supplements I found to be most beneficial. So that's a great question. Thank you very much, SoCal8025. What I'll tell you is at a baseline, you want to have your diet. Okay, so just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a hierarchy for life fulfillment and living a good life, you need to have a hierarchy here for health. So at the baseline, you want to have a basic good diet and exercise. And that diet, and by the way, the diet is probably the absolute most beneficial supplement you can ever have is a good diet. In particular, there's certain diets that I've been on that completely removed any need for any kind of supplements at all. So, different people are going to need different diets, different nutrition programs. But when you get your nutrition program dialed in, you won't really need supplements. But once you got your nutrition dialed in, supplements I found to be the most beneficial. Let's see, number one right now, I've been experimenting with Yohimbe. By the way, if you guys didn't know, now that I finished my ashwagandha 2-week experiment, I'm going to do 2 weeks of Yohimbe. Okay, Yohimbe bark extract. And that supplement, Yohimbe bark extract, oh my God. It sucks if you take the wrong dose. You take too much of it and it'll make you feel like your heart's going to explode. But you take just enough and it's the most amazing antidepressant supplement I've ever taken. My girlfriend personally had severe depression. And it's just like, it's a biological depression where she doesn't feel motivated or anything, despite her constant attempts at changing her mindset. And taking Yohimbe has completely transformed her life. And it's helped me too during periods where I need like something to help me get motivated. It's completely transformed my life. So right now, I'd say Yohimbe's been extremely beneficial for me. But depending on the individual, it's going to depend on you. So if you can be more specific, SoCal 8025, about what type of supplements you want me to be specific on, I'll tell you the most beneficial supplements for your whatever problem you want to be solved. Because I have millions of videos on different supplements. Gynosema is great. Yerba mate works as an amazing supplement in some case scenarios. I would say coffee, especially with protein powder, is a great supplement. Theanine is an amazing supplement for relaxation and cognition and focus. What else? Holy basil is great for a certain amount of time. Reishi mushroom, if you get a high quality extract, is great. Gynosema is amazing. Korean red ginseng, if you get a high quality extract, is absolutely fantastic. Cordyceps is great for increasing oxygenation and athletic performance, mental clarity. I can go on. I've tried like everything. So be more specific, but thank you. Okay. TOT Hydra. It sounds like a rap group, or Tot Hydra. From what you know, it's possible to reach biological immortality by 2050. Okay, so is it possible to reach biological immortality by 2050? Okay, immortality. You know, I've researched all different theories of longevity, because when we're talking immortality right now, we should just be looking at the different factors that increase our lifespan. So immortality is kind of like an extension of longevity and increasing lifespan. There's David Sinclair, who just kind of advocates like a balanced diet and calorie restriction, which I think is kind of way too basic and foolish. But we know caloric restriction is one of the most reliable protocols to double the lifespan of all animals that have been tested in the science literature. We know ketogenic diets tend to increase a lot of factors involved in longevity, including autophagy and obviously keeping insulin low, and it makes your entire biology more efficient. You know, so yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that question. By 2050, I'll tell you this: if think about this, if humans were able to obtain immortality, Guy, do you really think the Earth is going to be able to sustain an infinite amount of human beings? What that would mean is, oh, like everyone could just live to be like immortal or whatever, if they can afford it or whatever it is, whatever the protocol is for immortality. I don't think that the government or whoever creates this immortality protocol would release it to the public. There's a good chance that we already know how to increase lifespan to like 256, like that Chinese guy who did it through tonic herbs and whatnot. There's a good chance we already know how to increase lifespan, like double lifespan and live to like 300. There's a good chance that, I mean, there's a possibility that we already have discovered the secret to immortality. But what I'm saying is it's not ethical to do this. And I suspect that the reason why so many, like there's so many companies that give you information that makes you sick, and there's such a big push for, you know, like, oh, there's no cure for diabetes, no cure for heart disease. Some mainstream medical literature likes to push, when we know for sure we can reverse diabetes and heart disease through certain nutritional and supplement and lifestyle interventions. I don't think that the government wants for people to live long because the Earth can't sustain it. That's what I'm saying. If we all had immortality, the Earth would die, like global warming. It wouldn't be sustainable. whatever the case. The Earth can't maintain billions and billions of immortal humans. Like seriously, like probably the whole solar system. Like it's gonna be a matter of time before all the planets, like, you know, they can't hold all these immortal humans. That's something to think about. So let's see. Where can you get Yohimbe? Opolo Raw asks. So obviously, anytime you want to get an herb or anything like that, guys, Amazon.com, obviously. I don't know why, but like I get a lot of questions like this, like where can you get Yohimbe? Where can you get holy basil? Yada yada. Amazon.com has like everything. So yeah, Yohimbe, you can get it from Amazon.com. I get it from my local Sprouts. In fact, I can get it from my local grocery store. But I live in a very good area that has health food stores and organic food stores and everything all over the place. So yeah, but the particular Yohimbe supplement I'm currently taking is called, it's by Source Naturals, and it's called Mel Performance or something like that. And its main ingredient is 225 milligrams of Yohimbe bark extract. And it also contains, it does contain ashwagandha, but a very small amount, and it's an extract. And it contains horny goat weed and Mayapurima and various types of ginseng and ginkgo biloba. I do question I wonder if like it actually does contain all the herbs it claims, because if it does, it's a very impressive profile, and it's no wonder why I feel so good taking it. But I only take a very small dosage of it. The recommended dose is three tablets. I only take one. So that's the equivalent of about 75 milligrams of Yohimbe bark extract. And since the extract is 2%, is standardized to 2% yohimbine, I probably get about 2 milligrams of yohimbine. So one thing that's very important about buying Yohimbe is no matter what type you buy, make sure you go very, very slow with it. You take a very small dosage and don't overdo it, okay? Take as little of a dosage as you can. Yohimbe is very dangerous if you take too much of it, but it's miraculous if you take enough of it, okay? And it has a lot of, benefits for fat loss and erectile dysfunction. And then for me, and my girlfriend, antidepressant benefits and energy. But be careful, because you'll experience like severe anxiety and heart problems if you take too much, okay? Ningol28. Have any opinions on cannabis, both CBD and THC? Okay, so I do. I think cannabis is an herb. I believe it's a medicinal herb, just like holy basil. It's a medicinal herb, in my opinion. I do not consider it a tonic herb, and that's the way that the majority of people tend to use it. They use it as a daily tonic to feel good, to feel relaxed, etc., etc. It has many medicinal applications. It's probably one of the most powerful medicinal herbs on the planet, just for anxiety alone, let alone other benefits it has. I think that I think so. CBD has become a trend, by the way, and I don't like this idea of all these people promoting CBD. I don't know how valid a lot of these claims on CBD are. THC in particular, I can't say anything about isolated THC. But what I will tell you is I definitely don't recommend taking either CBD or THC by itself. What I think is probably the best thing is to take an oil form. I've taken hemp oil, obviously, because it's legal and it's like a salad dressing, essentially. It's your vegan omega-3 supplement, which is ridiculous. Hemp oil is not the same as cannabis oil, obviously. I think the closer you get to the whole herb, the better, is what I'm going to say. A lot of people take these CBD supplements, etc. Especially with something as powerful as cannabis, you want to take the whole plant, however you take it, whether you eat it, whether you smoke it, whether you take oil. I don't personally advocate the consumption of cannabis. I'm not against it. I don't recommend it, and I don't talk about it either. I don't have anything against it. And again, I think it's very positive, has many positive applications. Um, I personally, when I smoked cannabis for like 2 months, I had outer body experiences, extreme anxiety. Afterwards, I literally like went into an alternate dimension. I'm not exaggerating, okay? And it was on some really like impotent stuff apparently. And I know that what I was smoking at the time was legit. It wasn't laced or anything because my best friend who's been smoking that same thing for years, who I trust with everything, and he wanted me to enjoy cannabis because he wanted to smoke with me because I was his best friend. There's no way he would spike that or let that happen. And so, but for some reason, I had a bad reaction to cannabis. It was Reggie. It was a whole bowl of Reggie. To me, that was a lot. To him, he said it's ridiculous. That's not enough. But it was like I was brand new. Of course, all the girls in the world wanted to smoke me out and smoke with me. I didn't have to. I never bought any of that any of that stuff or whatever. Didn't need to because everybody wanted to smoke with me. Because they always thought I'd be like this amazing guy when I'm high. Because I'm amazing when I'm sober, right? I'd probably talk endlessly about health if I was high. Anyway, I had outer body experiences. I went crazy. It was terrible. I remember I felt like I was living in like 5 dimensions at one time, like 5 different times at once. It was crazy. Like my perception of time completely escaped me. Um, and the very first time I took it, because this happened multiple times, I remember I was seeing my heartbeat. It was weird. And I was freaking out. And I was on the phone with my friend who gave it to me. I was like, bro, what the hell? Like, I'm freaking out. And I remember I had left and went to the shower or something to like use cold water to pull me out of it. And I could still hear the phone, even though I left the phone in the living room. I could hear my friend talking at the same time. It was so scary. It freaked me out. What really freaked me out about cannabis is that I couldn't hold on to any thoughts because I guess I'm a very contemplative person, obviously, and marijuana was like this easygoing thing where I just like it was so flowy, like I was living in the moment or something, right? So yeah, I mean, I've had multiple experiences like this, probably, but I've had good experiences too. I had the greatest sex of my life on marijuana purely because of the cannabis. What else? Like my dad like smoked me out one time when we were driving back from the. I don't want to get into too many details. I don't know like about legal stuff, but we were laughing our asses off going like 100 miles an hour on a toll road or something, and we were laughing like as soon. And I wasn't smoking though. He got me secondhand high. And my girlfriend was in the back seat. And as soon as he like lit the marijuana or whatever, my girlfriend passed out and she just like passed out and I couldn't stop laughing like just because like me and my dad were talking about some kind of serious conversation and like immediately we just got all giggly and we were just laughing our asses off and it was horrible because we couldn't stop laughing and it was over stupid things, but at the same time my dad was driving 100 miles per hour and so he's like, stop it, Wolfgang, stop it, I'm gonna have to pull over, we're gonna die. I'm like, Dad, don't say that. Anyway, I don't like marijuana because I had a bad reaction to it. Usually it makes me go crazy. Maybe it was just the wrong strain. I don't know. I don't smoke marijuana. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's very positive for most people. I also have noticed, and I know a lot of people might not like me saying this, but pretty much most people that I know that smoke marijuana, they tend to be very procrastinated type people. Probably because it relaxes you so much and makes you feel like everything's cool. And like if they lose their job or something, they end up not do anything about it for a long period of time. And I know this just tends to be a common thing. But then I also know a few people who say that like they tend to be very, very productive and they clean the entire house when they're high. So I don't know. It's up to you guys. You know what I mean? I don't advocate it, but I think it's great for people who need it. But I also think that there's other herbs and supplements you can take to feel relaxed or to feel whatever you want. So it just depends. You know, if it works for you, then that's what's up. There's nothing bad with it. There's a lot of pharmaceutical drugs that will hurt you pretty bad, right? Okay, let's see. Okay. Well, where did I go? Sorry, I'm going to answer more questions. Okay. Drew Harley, do you know anything about Bulbine natalensis? Okay, that sounds very familiar. Bulbine sounds like garlic or something. Sounds very familiar. You should probably use a more common name. That sounds like an alternative name for something. But that sounds very familiar. Bulbine natalensis, is that a Chinese herb? I'm not sure. Let me know, and then when I come around, let me know what that is. You know, describe it to me, and when I get around to it, to that question again, I'll address it. Mark Jacobs, Yohimbe, can't wait. I want to test it as well. Yeah, I highly recommend it, but be very careful with Yohimbe. Okay, this is a thing, is like it works amazingly, but guys, you have to start off with a very small dose. Never overdo it. Okay, never overdo it. Okay, I take it. My girlfriend takes it on an empty stomach, and she also tends to take pre-workouts with it now. I take it in the morning now with my experiment, and I drink bulletproof coffee with a raw egg and protein powder. So it's not really on an empty stomach for me. But as long as you take the right dose, it should be fine, even on an empty stomach. Kathy Crack Corn, is there any telltale signs of a stomach infection? Okay, yes, there is. If you have uncontrollable diarrhea where you're literally pissing out of your ass, that, my friend, is a stomach virus, okay? Now, there's many different types of infections, obviously, but if you have a stomach infection, you will know, okay? You'll probably be shitting out of your ass. Your body, anytime it has an infection of any kind, it wants to remove it from your body, okay? If you have a mucus infection, like a infection of the respiratory system, you'll cough in an attempt to cough out the pathogen. Your mucus acts as a vehicle. It tries to soak up the pathogen and remove it through the nose or through the mouth, and sometimes even through the colon, through the butt. Or you'll just have diarrhea, or you'll vomit if you have a stomach infection to remove the pathogen. So you'll know. And that's also why you don't want to take all these drugs to like stop the symptoms of like fevers and infections and things. Fevers, I like to think of fevers as like the body trying to boil pathogens, essentially killing the bacteria or whatever it is. Sometimes that can be dangerous though, fevers. So yeah, you'll know if you have a stomach infection. You'll be pissing out of your ass. You'll be vomiting out of your ass. Okay. Sorry, but that's the way it is. Okay. TOT Hydra, thank you so much. I will keep studying and saving money. Listen, I love that attitude. Okay. Study and save money. You will feel so great. That's the way to do it. Save money and don't spend money on things you don't need. You know, I live on pretty much $6 a day, just eating 2 to 3 pounds of ground beef a day, and lots of butter, lots of grass-fed butter. At least that's the experiment I've been doing lately, to save money and to see how I feel. I feel great. Let's see. Not that I'm recommending that or saying it's healthy. Jamarcus Jenkins. I love that name. If that's your real name, that's badass. What's a good supplement combo for anxiety? Okay, so anxiety has many, many causes. First of all, I highly recommend you search up my channel name combined with anxiety. Chalice of Immortality, and then anxiety. And you'll find, like, I have like 50 videos on anxiety, you guys. I have complete guides and everything. In particular, I think the best video I ever created was called The Secrets of Ki. It's not particularly about anxiety, but it's a good blueprint for the basics. So what I'll tell you is anxiety can be caused by nutritional deficiencies. It can be caused by food intolerances, blood sugar imbalances, hormones. Essentially, if you have a good diet, the diet that I personally think would work amazing for anybody who wants a basic starting point would be the Primal Blueprint. Not because Mark Sisson is a great guy or something, just because his methods are amazing and they work. It's what I use to get over my anxiety, my psoriasis, and everything. So look into the Primal Blueprint and start following that diet. Remove all the crap first, because it could just be a food intolerance. It could be that you have so much bloating in your stomach that you can't breathe. And if you can't breathe through your diaphragm, obviously you're going to have slight hyperventilation and anxiety. And I could go on about that. So first, address your diet for anxiety. Second, you want to try to understand the mindset behind anxiety. You got to understand depression usually is caused by dwelling on the past and feeling like the past is holding you back from creating a good future. Depression is also caused by feeling hopeless for the future. And it can be a biological, chemical thing. Anxiety is where you're attached to the outcome. You're like, something in the future is scaring you. You're like, oh my God, like you're anticipating something. You're like, oh my God, like I'm going to be late for work, and then my boss is going to hate me, and I'm going to get fired. And then you're visualizing negative things. Okay, negative visualization. Instead, you should question the validity of your anxiety. Like, does it really make sense to assume that this negative, this scary thing is going to really create all these bad things? What's the benefit of being worried about this? You know, like, what good is it going to serve me? Anyway, like I'm really big on finding the cause first. Okay. And there's many things I could talk about as far as the mentality of anxiety. Again, search up Chalice of Immortality and then anxiety, and you will find all my videos on anxiety and the mindset and whatnot. I created like a 3-part series to that actually. But the supplement combo for anxiety, I'll tell you first of all, Mark Hyman's Ultramind Solution. Look, go and buy that book and read the whole thing. Okay. Because he's one of the greatest medical doctors on the planet that has released information on the mind and health in general, has an entire program outlined, and you can even download his program for free, where he has a comprehensive test to find out what neurotransmitters you might need to balance out, and if you have magnesium deficiency, etc. And then he actually has an action plan written out for free. And you can find that by searching on Google Ultramind Solution Companion Guide or something like that. But what I would tell you is GABA supplementation, the Now Foods GABA. I think it has vitamin B6 in it. I take that. I don't take that anymore, but I used to take that before bed, and that would instantly relax me and put me to sleep. Magnesium citrate is the kind I like. In pill form, not in liquid form. That will make you crap. 400 milligrams of magnesium citrate before bed. Typically, anxiety can be caused by magnesium deficiency, and magnesium has many other benefits. I actually made, that was one of that's one of my most popular videos. Is my first video I made on magnesium. So you can find that by searching magnesium and then Chalice of Immortality. Magnesium's great. Theanine should probably eliminate your anxiety immediately. The problem with theanine is many people experience a tolerance to theanine over time, but it works wonders. Also, look into ketogenic diets. They actually upregulate GABA and cause you to be more relaxed and sleep better. But you must learn how to do a ketogenic diet properly for that. And then cordyceps is great. Reishi mushroom is great. Holy basil is good, but it could also cause depression in some people. And these are just the ones that I like. But there's a lot of people that that believe rhodiola is good. They think ashwagandha is good. They think stuff like that. I don't like those. I don't like 5-HTP. I don't like St. John's wort. Makes me feel like I want to cry. It makes me feel like a bitch boy. All right. SoCo 8025. What do you like for fatigue and feeling lethargic? Okay, so supplements for fatigue and lethargy. I'm going to tell you right now, Yohimbe bark extract at the right dosage. Irwin Naturals Yohimbe Plus works pretty good if you take the half dose, like one pill. I'm taking the Source Naturals Mel Performance or whatever, which is basically Yohimbe with other synergistic herbs. And it makes me feel motivated, makes me feel energized, but you have to make sure you're taking it at the right dose. The other thing is, why do you feel fatigue and lethargy? If you're not eating a specific diet that is intended to boost your energy and your motivation, then you need to start there. Again, as a baseline for the average person, I believe the Primal Blueprint by Mark Sisson is a great place to start. Especially his new revised book. It talks about exercise and diet and nutritional factors that everybody can follow, even with little bits of time. Especially, it's really good for people who aren't science-minded like myself, because it's very, very, very basic. But Gynostem is a good supplement, typically in the evening. Ketogenic diet's great. I think you should probably also, might I say, look into the book, The Bulletproof Diet by Dave Asprey. I know a lot of people would probably hate me for saying that because they think he's a con man, but The Bulletproof Diet is a great book that talks about optimizing your energy and your lifestyle using different protocols and things. All of his protocols work really well, even though he tries to get you to buy his supplements you might not need. But Yohimbe is what I would say works really, really good for fatigue and lethargy. Cordyceps is also really good. Also, L-tyrosine in the morning is a great amino acid supplement. I have videos on tyrosine. I would check those out. Yerba mate, you might want to try. Let's see. I mean, obviously, Siberian ginseng, I think, is great for fatigue and lethargy. There's a lot of things I could recommend to you on that. But diet and nutrition and proper exercise and breathing and your mindset is very, very important. But Yohimbe at the right dose will kick that fatigue to the curb, definitely. Just be careful not to take too much. Let's see here. I got a lot of funny questions here. Let's see. What do you like for? Okay. So let me try to read that right. Packerumbo. I don't know how to say that. P4K1R4MBO. I think it's Packerumbo, I think. Says cannabis is nice. That's cool. I don't think that it's bad at all. And most people, it helps a lot of people. You probably smoke spice. I tried synthetic once a long time ago, and that was horrible. It felt like it was frying my brain. But when I had these outer body experiences and things, that's not true. When I had these outer body experiences, it was from actual marijuana from a very trusted source. I'm certain it was actual marijuana, and it's probably just the wrong strain, because I know there's sativa versus was it indigo or something? So I probably smoked the wrong strain, I guess, and it caused anxiety. So, and then he says, "Shut the fuck up, you ugly, bold-headed gingerbread man." Pothead. Okay, that's hilarious. Gingerbread man. Thank you very much. I like that. I love that, but I feel like he's just trying to make me laugh. So I don't know. Sounds like someone I would enjoy hanging out with, probably. Okay, Eddie Gonzalez. Holy shit, that is true. Not really sure what is true, but I'm sure most of what I'm saying is pretty accurate. With no name, smiley face. Smiley face back to you, and I like your picture, yin and yang. Curly girl, 582. Got all these curls up in my hair. She says, hello. Well, hello there. Cat the Crack Corn said, man, that name is getting me. That's a good name. Okay, what do you think is the main cause of kidney stones? Okay, well, kidney stones can have many causes. So I can tell you right now, I don't believe that oxalates cause kidney stones. There's a lot of like these carnivore dieters, which I eat mostly a carnivore diet myself, but I don't believe in the dogma nonsense that a lot of these carnivore dieters believe in. They claim that like green leafy vegetables with and almonds and things that are high in oxalates, they think it causes kidney stones. I don't think so. Honestly, from what I've seen, I actually was talking with a guy who had like really bad kidney stones and whatnot, and he had. So I think calcium. First of all, calcium malabsorption. I think that's a huge cause of kidney stones. I think vitamin D deficiency can be a root cause of many calcium problems, including kidney stones. So this guy in particular had a strong history of kidney stones. He also had high blood pressure. He also had gout, calcium crystals, essentially crystallized in his joints. He had clear indication of calcium malabsorption and metabolism issues of calcium, and also was on antidepressant meds and various other things. I think that what I told him was he probably had vitamin D deficiency and calcium problems. So if you take a calcium supplement and then you wonder why you have kidney stones and other problems, I think that's a big thing. And people don't realize calcium is also found in excessive amounts in commercial dairy products and cereals, and it's even fortified in a lot of like refined grains. And I know a lot of people get a lot of problems from these artificial supplemental vitamins and minerals that are added to the food, fortification. Um, a lot of people have actually healed up chronic kidney stones by following a ketogenic diet, but don't take my word for that. Um, I think a lot of it's just improper diet. It's excessive amounts of artificial additives to their diet. This could be fatty acids that the human body are not designed to process, not for kidney stones, but for other things. Obviously, excessive things that the kidneys have to filter, like sugar and artificial sodium compounds, not salt, like Himalayan salt or even just regular table salt, but things like sodium nitrates and sodium phosphate. Okay, these are not natural sodium compounds. When you add phosphate to the mix, it has completely different physiological effects. But there's many things. Getting rid of kidney stones, if you just follow a proper diet, like I mentioned, the Primal Blueprint, you can get rid of kidney stones pretty fast. Drink a lot of water, obviously. Apple cider vinegar is a great way to heal up many problems of the kidney and the, God damn it, what the fuck? Not, damn it, the P system, the urinary tract, etc., etc. So yeah, I would say apple cider vinegar is a good way to cure that. But there's many causes of kidney stones. Many people think oxalates, calcium, artificial vitamins and minerals, stuff like that. I can go on, but I don't research kidney stones very often because it's such an easy thing to overcome. I can tell you how to reverse kidney stones, get a proper diet, remove all the harmful crap, and take some apple cider vinegar on a regular basis. Kidney stones will be gone pretty fast. Remove all these artificial added supplements and whatnot, and that's all. Okay, Eddie Gonzalez. Have you heard of Carl Jung's shadow self? I love Carl Jung or Jung or whatever you want to call him. I think I don't recognize the term shadow self, but I think that that's what he calls the pseudo self. Basically, this or is it the true self? The shadow self, I think, is like a personality that you don't want to acknowledge is there. You try to. It's like your true self, basically, like who you were as a kid. Um, and then your mom and your dad, through, with good intentions, they discipline you in a way that makes you think who you really are is not good enough, and then you have to pretend to be something you're not. You have to act a certain way and behave a certain way to get acceptance from your parents, so they don't spank you and whatnot. And then you kind of shut your true self away and create this pseudo self to be accepted in society and whatnot. And then your true self is left down in the corner. And most people, they live their entire lives trying to ignore all of the pain and trauma that comes from creating this false sense of identity to fit into society. So I think that might be what the shadow self is, but I actually haven't heard what he's, his shadow self thing. I don't know. I've never heard his talk on that. Joe Miglazzo, message retracted. Honestly, I'd love to know what that said. I'd love to see what Joe Miglazzo said. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Ask me anything and I will answer. And even if it's a hate comment, I'd love to laugh. It would be an interesting thing, especially on a live stream. Taj, how much salt do you take every day? Okay, so salt is a very nuanced subject. But for me personally, since I'm on a ketogenic diet right now, and I have been on a ketogenic diet with some carb experiments just here and there, very vaguely, for the past 6 months, I have to take at least 5 grams of salt per day. Okay? On a ketogenic diet, if you don't take 5 grams of sodium per day, you'll start cramping and having energy problems and all sorts of things. I take 5 grams of salt per day. Typically, I'll have 1 to 2 teaspoons per meal, like 1 teaspoon per meal. I like Celtic sea salt, or if I'm running low on money, I'll just get basic sea salt. But Himalayan salt's good. Real salt is good. As long as I'm not consuming the mass marketed table salt, because the main thing is it contains magnesium chloride and other additives that actually dilute your stomach acid. So always be careful. If you get salt, stay the fuck away from salt with added minerals. Stay away from alkaline water that has added minerals, etc., etc. So 5 grams of salt per day. Otherwise, I have problems. Not to mention, I'm an athlete. I do jiu-jitsu and powerlifting and long distance cycling. Today, I cycled for like 15 miles, or was it 20? And if I didn't supplement with salt, I'd start cramping up after intense workouts, especially on a keto diet. So thank you, Taj, for your question. All right, Jazz L. Hi, how would you deal with hormonal imbalance that causes gyno? Is surgery the only way? Okay, so hormonal imbalance that causes gyno. So gynecomastia. I don't believe at all that surgery is the only way for this. Hormonal imbalances. Okay, so first of all, everyone keep in mind, I'm not a medical doctor and this is not medical advice, but here's my opinions. So gynecomastia is usually caused by something you're doing. So, of course, if you take steroids or you take testosterone without estrogen blocking supplements, or what is it, alpha reductase inhibitors? No, but estrogen blocking compounds. If you don't supplement properly or whatever, and you take testosterone replacement therapy, especially if you just stop after you start like testosterone or whatever, your body will have trouble producing testosterone, or it'll turn whatever testosterone you're creating into estrogen, which causes gyno. And in that case, like, stop taking testosterone, take some hormonal balancing herbs, like, or I would say like maca root, like maca, tribulus. In fact, they have supplements, post-cycle therapy supplements, that are designed to get bodybuilders coming off of steroid cycles back to normal hormone production. So I'm not recommending anything, but I'll tell you, something to think about probably would be maybe trying a post-cycle therapy supplement that is recommended by the bodybuilder community, for coming off steroids. Okay, obviously, taking a supplement that blocks estrogen, or so some good ones that I think are great for like breast cancer and stuff like that, and dealing with estrogen metabolism would be indole 3-carbinol, as well as what's the other one? Damn it, indole 3-carbinol. And then there's another metabolite, and these are found in broccoli and maca root as well. Indole 3-carbinol. And there's another one. I don't know why I'm forgetting it. It's slipping my mind because I don't really use that as much anymore. I don't use it anymore. I tried it as an experiment for a while. But then also calcium deglutarate, because indole 3-carbinol and DIM and indole 3-carbinol, which are alkaloids found in broccoli, combined with calcium deglutarate, and probably taking maca root and tribulus as well. And mucuna. Take some mucuna too. I would say together, what that would do is lower prolactin levels, which directly contributes to gynecomastia, help to increase testosterone and androgens, and decrease estrogen. Indole 3-carbinol and DIM, what it does is it lowers the bad estrogen and it helps to increase the good estrogen. Calcium deglutarate helps to bring estrogen out of the body, or detox the liver. Milk thistle is also a great thing to take alongside that. And then obviously following a healthy diet, such as a Primal Blueprint, that is low in estrogenic foods, high in animal protein, animal fat, and it's low in insulin or high glycemic load stimulating carbohydrates. I would say it's a good place to start. And you have to make sure that if you're overweight, obviously lose the weight. That can actually be a direct cause. Whatever caused it, if it's, I don't know, birth control, or if it's testosterone replacement, or steroids of any kind, even cortisone shots, if you're not eating a proper diet, etc. So that's what I would say. Surgery is definitely not the only way. And I don't even, if you get surgery to heal gynecomastia is just going to come back. That's like removing a tumor. It's just going to come back. You have to address the underlying cause. You can take herbs all you want, but if you're continuing to do whatever caused the gynecomastia in the first place, you're never going to. It's always going to come back. So, Curly Girl 582. Man, I love that name. Curly Girl 582. Curly Girl. That's just like, I don't know, a super feminine name. What do you recommend for getting rid of water retention? So, well, I recommend you find the root cause of water retention. So water retention typically can be caused if you have diabetes, or if you have insulin problems, or if you eat a high carbohydrate diet. Honestly, first, I would try a ketogenic diet, as long as you don't have other health problems, because ketogenic diets, like, you lose 10 pounds worth of water in the first 2 weeks. That's why it's required to eat 5 grams of sodium. So getting rid of water retention, eat a diet that promotes water loss. So start with a ketogenic diet and see what happens, okay? And look into how to do it properly. Dandelion root is a diuretic. It makes your body lose water. But the thing is, what is causing your water retention? If you're taking any kind of medications or anything like that, that can cause that. Medications can cause all these problems people ask. Kidney stones, medication can cause kidney stones. Gynecomastia, lots of pharmaceutical drugs can cause gyno. Water retention, lots of medications can cause water retention. So you got to find out what is causing the water retention. But diuretics and dandelion and what else? There's many diuretics. I don't really study diuretics. I don't think it's healthy. But I would say ketogenic diet's a good place to start. But again, anybody with health problems like this, consult your doctor. And if you're on any kind of medications at all, especially that deal with electrolytes and the kidneys, et cetera, or the heart, you need to look at fixing the problem and maybe having your doctor get you off those medications. But there's a lot of causes of water retention. Also, hormones can influence water retention. Obviously, aldosterone, that's the primary water retention hormone. Insulin, progesterone, and estrogen, those all can, influence your water retention. So, Rain Harris, sup, dude? Sup, Rain Harris. Let's see. Thank you, Eddie Gonzalez. You are awesome as well. Okay. I'm not even going to mention this next person. I'm not even gonna answer. I would answer that question, but I really honestly, I love Latino women. They are my favorite. But I love women of all kinds. I love women in general. I am very much a pro female person, I guess. I love females. And that's what I'll tell you, sir, or whatever you are. Troll, most likely. Okay, Rain Harris. The Avengers Endgame movie came out the day before my birthday. That's interesting. Sounds like you're trying to hint me off to who you are, I guess. Give me a clue or something, but that's cool. Avengers Endgame was pretty badass. My girlfriend forced me to watch that movie, and I don't regret it. It was cool. Avengers Endgame. Okay, Taj, what is the minimum amount of water people should drink per day? Okay, and so you're very curious about electrolytes and water metabolism. That's great. And by the way, Jazz L, if you can specify, if you can let me know if you're on any medications, if you can tell me what you think might have led up to that gyno, because typically something really crazy happens right before gyno. It's probably something. So let me know if you've had any. If you've done it, let me know if you think anything might contribute to your gyno, so I can help you out more specifically with your question. But Taj, what is the minimum amount of water people should drink per day? Okay, so follow your thirst. If you're thirsty, drink water. Personally, I tend to drink, it depends on what I eat. When I was taking ashwagandha, since ashwagandha made me pee 8 times within an hour or within 4 hours after taking it, ashwagandha made me pee a lot. So I was drinking 2.5, 3 gallons of water a day when I took ashwagandha. If you're taking anything that's making you piss a lot, any kind of diuretic foods, or whatever, then you're going to drink more water. I exercise a lot. Again, I do powerlifting. I do jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. I do full MMA, powerlifting. And I do cardio on the side because I enjoy it and to increase my MMA performance, like long distance cycling and whatnot. I do a lot of intense exercise per day. And I'm on a ketogenic diet, which promotes water loss. So I personally drink around 1.5 to 2 gallons of water per day. But the average person, the minimum amount, as much as you're thirsty for. I don't recommend you follow any kind of standardized advice on water intake. The reason why is because everybody's going to be different, and many, many things influence water consumption. So I appreciate it. Thank you for the question. Drink as much as you feel thirsty. How about that? Um, okay, so first of all, Jazz L, just so you know, I don't think that dairy and chocolate were causing your problems, but I'll get to that in a second. Um, hmm. Okay, this person who I'm curious if they're a troll or not. I'm not gonna. The funny name, Tentacle Ass. Tentacle Ass asks me, how do you reduce or just get rid of loose skin without surgery? Um, that could be a troll comment. I don't really care. That's actually a good question. So, loose skin. Many people go through dramatic weight loss and then they lose all the fat, but then they have loose skin. It is a very common problem. Um, Loose skin. So there's a couple things. The first thing is there's many people that have said that they've actually lost their loose skin on a ketogenic diet for whatever reason. For some reason, when they did caloric restriction diets, they had loose skin that would never soak up or whatever, that would never close. Um, and then they went keto, and all of a sudden, their loose skin started to improve drastically. Um, Depending on how loose the skin is, some people can actually fill out the loose skin by building muscle. Another thing is collagen supplements. Now, this is very controversial, but there's a lot of people that have reported anecdotally that collagen supplementation and bone broth, protein concentrates, and what's the other one? Gelatin and stuff like that promotes collagen synthesis. Um, is a way that many people have actually healed up their loose skin. But honestly, that's not something I really look too much into because it's not really a health concern. But as far as I know, what I would say is build muscle, exercise, follow a healthy diet based on animal foods. It doesn't have to be like low carb, but ketogenic diets might actually help. But more specifically, at the very least, if you're going to eat any animal protein at all or any animal foods at all, increase your collagen sources, okay? Whether that's from whole food or from supplements, I would say collagen. Obviously, we know when you consume collagen, your body breaks down whatever collagen sources you consume into the building blocks required for your body to actually produce collagen. So I can tell you collagen supplements work amazing for nails, hair, skin, even though I'm still bald despite the collagen supplements. My girlfriend says it works amazing. But mood and joint pain too, because I used to feel super beat up and I thought it was the ketogenic diet that was healing my injuries, but actually it was a collagen protein I was consuming. So I think collagen's great and can help with loose skin and can help with joint pain and all sorts of things. Okay, Jazz L, no medications, but I think the cause, may have been consuming dairy products as a teen, drinking milk, chocolate, etc., and it never went away. I'm not fat, more so skinny fat. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I mean, I honestly don't think, first of all, I don't believe that milk causes gynecomastia. I know many people who do a gallon of milk a day, and it'll increase your flab. I think just the high caloric density and obviously the hormones. I don't know how much they play a role. Obviously, I've been eating pounds of cheese for years, ever since ever since I stopped being vegan, actually. And I don't notice any gynecomastia at all. And the thing is, if you stopped drinking milk when you were a teen and years later you still think it's affecting you, that's not normal. It's something else. It's probably not the milk. And chocolate by itself, I don't know why you would think chocolate would cause gynecomastia. If you're skinny fat, that's a sign that you probably have high estrogen. It's also a sign you probably just have a bad diet. So I suppose you said that you'll look into the supplements and things I recommended. Yeah, I would start with the Primal Blueprint, and then I would slowly transition into a ketogenic diet. So Mark Sisson has that book on the Primal Blueprint, which can be a high carb diet, so that you can kind of wean yourself off carbs. High carb diets can influence your hormones in a way that causes you to be skinny fat, and also can possibly cause higher estrogen. Although I wouldn't say that. If you drink a lot of alcohol, yeah, that can too. A lot of beer, especially with the hops and whatnot. So follow the Primal Blueprint, and then also after you get used to that, lower your carbohydrate intake slowly over time. Follow a decent exercise program. Mark Sisson lists some really easy exercise programs that work really well in his book, Primal Blueprint, the new revised Primal Blueprint, the big book. And then after that, look into the ketogenic diet. Mark Sisson does have his Keto Reset diet book, which is really good for a beginner. I think the Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living is a great book for ketogenic diet. And then there's one called The Ketogenic Diet, and it's like $7, and it's written by somebody with a Master of Science degree. I forget who writes that book, but it's a really good basics guide. Also, the Keto Cure, even though it's by Jimmy Moore, which is not really a good credible source, he basically compiles ketogenic tips and talks from all the leading experts of ketogenic diets. So that's also a pretty good book for people just getting on a ketogenic diet. But I don't like Jimmy Moore at all, and I don't think he's a good resource. Okay, so have you ever fasted past 3 days before? No, not if you're asking me if I've gone like 3 days on a full-on fast, no. But I do intermittent fasting just naturally these days on a regular basis. I can fast for 20 hours or more now because I'm keto adapted. It's effortless because my body is actually pulling its calories from my body fat. So my body's eating its own body fat as fuel. So I have an infinite amount of calories, and it feeds my body all the time. So my metabolic processes are being ran from its own body fat. So I'm not consuming any dietary nutrients for about 20 hours on average. But most days it's more like a 16-hour fast on average. And I can exercise. I can do everything while I'm fasted. But I don't really recommend long periods of fasting. The only thing I think I think fasting can be great and very therapeutic for many people. But there's a certain time where you should probably cut it off. There's a lot of orthorexic people that do fasting and these crazy like great fasts and things. I don't recommend that at all. If you're doing some kind of like fruitarian diet and then doing fasting on top of that, you need to stop because you're going to look like Eugenia Cooney very soon. Jason Fung is a great resource for fasting. In fact, he has a complete guide on fasting, which is a great resource. He has a good book on longevity that he wrote that I read, which was excellent. And I have the Diabetes Code by Jason Fung. And I still haven't read, I've read like 175 pages. So I just need like another 50 pages and I'll be done. But Jason Fung, I've watched all of his lectures, and I know a lot of people, including one of my favorite MMA fighters of all time, Georges St-Pierre, who does intermittent fasting. Georges St-Pierre actually says about the 3-day mark is where he notices the most optimal results for being a high-level athlete. So unless you're trying to reverse diabetes or extreme obesity, I don't recommend long periods of fasting. But if you are trying to do diabetes or trying to reverse diabetes or something like that, looking at Jason Fung's books on fasting, and be careful with that, and make sure that if you get cramps or something like that, you're supplementing with sodium. I've actually coached somebody who was 200 pounds and he wanted to get down to like 200 pounds, a healthy weight. And he would refuse to do, to just stick to anything. He was a very undisciplined person, but what he found is intermittent fasting, and he would do 2-day fasts. and he was able to lose a ton of weight just doing high intensity exercises along with long periods of fasting, or even just 1 day fasting, like 24 hours. He was losing weight effortlessly. And the thing is, he loves Korean barbecue, so he'd always be eating. He'd be munching out with his girlfriend at a Korean barbecue place with rice and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, all I'm saying is it's not necessary to fast long times, even if you have a disease. Um, so there's that. Okay. Black snow films. I can never make it past 3 days. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how necessary it would be to fast that long. I think even in regards to something like cancer, I mean, maybe cancer would be one thing that fasting longer would be a good thing for. But I think combining like a ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting is probably the most powerful thing, because ketogenic diets, number one, they can lower your appetite if you do them a certain way, um, which can cause you to be able to fast for longer periods. And once you're fat adapted, which would take about 4 to 6 weeks on average for most people, 8 weeks at the most, but usually about 4 weeks is the average time. Once you're keto adapted, you don't really need to be consuming a lot of food. So fasting is kind of natural. Your appetite goes down not just because of your hunger hormones being regulated, but also because your body is literally eating its own body fat as fuel, which is the most efficient energy metabolism you can think of. Um, so you could probably fast the longest on a ketogenic diet. It's probably much easier that way. Okay, let's see. Tentacle ass. Goddamn, man. You got to get that ass checked out by a doctor if you've got tentacles coming out of it. I thinks. Yeah. Because I did lose weight and started lifting and doing cardio, but still got that loose skin. I guess I got to change my diet. Yeah, I mean, that again, that's the thing, you guys. Listen, I really am happy hearing that you actually started lifting, you did cardio, and you lost a lot of weight to that point where you got that loose skin. I'm really sorry. Like, I mean, not that right? Why should I be sorry? But it sucks. I understand. Like, you lost all this weight, and you're like super motivated, you're getting all this progress, and then you're like, well, shit, I lost the fat, but now I got this loose skin, and it's like, to some people, it's defeating because it's like, why now I'm not fat? I just got this like deformed skin, right? So I can understand why that might feel kind of, why that might suck. But yeah, I mean, collagen supplements is something I look into. Some people believe like rubbing cocoa butter on their body, specifically just natural cocoa butter. Some people believe that helps to tighten up the skin. I mean, there's a lot of protocols. Another thing I would recommend you do is Google search. This is anytime you have a problem that you really want ideas for, especially if you don't have like general knowledge of it. A good thing to do is look at what worked for other people. And so this is a good place to start your research. So you can Google search Reddit and then getting rid of loose skin, or Reddit tightening up loose skin. There are surgeries and stuff you can do, but I don't think that's necessary, and I don't like that, not unless you absolutely have to. So, but yeah, Google search Reddit and then loose skin, getting rid of loose skin. Okay, for exercise, Jazz L, for exercise, let's see. Okay, so for exercise, I've been told to start lifting with compound lifts. I thought the gyno was hard tissue that couldn't dissolve. Thank you. No, gyno can be reversed. I'm sure of it. So exercise, I've been told to start lifting with compound lifts. Okay, so it depends on what your goal is. Okay, so for exercise, so if you're skinny fat, or you're pudgy, or you have loose skin, stuff like that, building muscle is probably a good idea. Typically, people who are skinny fat, it's not that they need to lose weight or lose fat. Typically, it's just that they need to fill out their body. And so filling out the body, the best way to do that is with muscle mass. So I know plenty of trainers personally, they're good friends of mine who do like bodybuilding and whatnot. And, you know, they always tell me how skinny fat people try to do cardio and low calorie diets and wonder why it never works. It's because you need to build muscle to fill out the stomach region and just to fill out the body in general. With the more muscle you gain, the less of that skinny fat look you're going to have. It's going to make you look more symmetrical, and it's going to help you lose that little pudge in the stomach. That's the first thing. The second thing is that, and so in order to gain muscle, you need to do compound lifts, you need to do exercises properly. And there's many programs I could suggest to you. And again, Mark Sisson has an entire, he has a bunch of good suggestions in there, including cardio and weightlifting recommendations, but it's real basic. I don't follow his advice for exercise or anything like that because I'm way on another level. It wouldn't work for me. But yeah, so weightlifting is great to build muscle, but also if you have gyno is usually caused by too much estrogen. When you lift weights, it does start to produce a more testosterone favorable environment for your body. And don't listen to people who say, oh, like, yeah, sure. Like you can raise your testosterone using weights and using food and stuff, but it's still going to be in the natural range. Dude, the natural range for testosterone is something like 200 nanograms per deciliter up to like 800. That's what, like a four times, that's a 4-time increase in testosterone, the higher end compared to the lower end. That makes a huge difference, and you will feel different when you build more testosterone, even if it's in the normal range. So anyway, weightlifting can actually increase your testosterone in incremental amounts. Taking these other herbs can too. So yeah, compound lifts are recommended if you're trying to build muscle, if you're trying to cure the skinny fat syndrome, and if you're trying to increase testosterone or reverse estrogen dominance. It's highly recommended. If you do that, along with the herbs I recommended, along with the exercises I recommended, I think that's essential. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is vitamin D deficiency. You need to check for vitamin D deficiency because that can cause high estrogen and low test, and that could be the main cause right there. So I highly recommend that as well. But yeah, I mean, there's many different types of exercise someone can do. It all depends on the intention. For you specifically, I definitely think weightlifting is great. But I do all sorts of things, and there's many different paths to the same, many different methods to the same result. The Sheriff, did going keto / carnivore make you shrink in size from the loss in water weight? Thank you for your question. So I'm going to tell you straight up. I mean, it's pretty, I mean, honestly, yeah, I look like Eugenia Cooney now. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, obviously, if you shrink, obviously when you lose water weight, you're gonna get smaller. I looked ripped. I've been looking ripped as fuck. I really don't think I'm probably like, you probably can't tell. But you can see my abs. The lighting's horrible right here, but usually speaking, you can see my abs and whatnot. I mean, my muscle mass didn't go down, but yeah, like I got slightly smaller. But for me, I don't really care too much. I don't really care too much about. I don't really care too much about how big I am at all. Like I've never cared about how big I am. All I've ever cared about is my exercise performance. So the fact that I've lost 10 pounds, even if it's water weight, that means my strength to weight ratio has drastically increased. Actually, I lost 15 pounds in the first 2 weeks of starting the carnivore diet way back in December. And I haven't weighed myself recently because I got kicked out of Gold's Gym because I'm a savage and I don't have access to a scale at my MMA gym. So, which you'd think they'd have a scale, right? Because there's a bunch of competitive fighters that need to cut weight there. But last I checked, I was 182 pounds. So I went from 195 to 200 pounds down to 182 pounds just with a keto carnivore diet while increasing my strength. I'm stronger at 182 than I was at 200. My deadlift increased by 50 pounds. My clean and jerk is about the same. My overhead press, I can overhead press 190 pounds at 182 pound body weight. Before I could overhead press 185 pounds at 200 pounds. So that's a pretty big increase. I could power snatch 200 pounds at 182 pounds, whereas I used to be able to do that when I was 200. So I just, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great thing. I've shrunk. I have shrunk. I don't care though. It's a good thing. I'm stronger. Okay, this is a great question. The Sheriff, another great question. Also, where do you buy your teas for a bargain? Tired of sipping that factory-made tea dust. Listen, I empathize with you. You know, unless I'm at like a friend's house and I have absolutely no way of getting good tea, I might honestly, I don't. I always bring my own tea. I'll go to Chinese restaurants or I'll go to like buffets and I'll just order like a hot teapot and I'll put my own high quality tea up in there and drink it wherever I go. I don't like to settle for nothing. Like at restaurants, they'll typically have tea bags, even at high quality Chinese restaurants. So yeah, it depends on what you think is high quality, first of all. So at a baseline, because you know what you think of quality is going to impact the price. I see high quality teas as a tea that's going to make me tea drunk, basically. A tea that's going to make me feel relaxed. It's going to make me feel calm. It's going to make me feel high, basically. That's how a lot of good teas make me feel. And pu'er tea in particular makes me feel great. So even the cheaper pu'ers tend to make me feel like super high and tea drunk for whatever reason. So I have a local grocery store. I live in Texas. It's called Central Market, and they import teas from China. They have like Rishi tea and or like the brand is Rishi and then La Haha or whatever. And these teas seem to be really high quality. At least they have the qualities that I like in the tea. And I can get a Royal Pu'er tea for like $60 a pound. $60 a pound for pu'er is amazing. In fact, like I forget what type of aged, how long it's aged, but I can get some good pu'er tea, get you drunk, little tiny pu'er cakes, for about what is it, like $1 an ounce, something like that. Maybe my math is kind of sucks, but I can get a whole week's worth for like $2 of pu'er cakes from Central Market. But for the average person, you're probably going to have to look on the internet. It's going to be a hit or miss, okay? Because if you're getting bargain teas on the internet, typically you're going to have to buy like a pound at a time. So to find bargain teas, even if you're paying a high price for high quality tea, just because it's a high price doesn't mean it's going to be high quality. It might make you feel like crap. So you need to like test it. You know, that's why I like buying in bulk locally. But what I can tell you is pu'er is usually good. If you really want a high quality tea that you know is going to be good, one of my favorite YouTubers, his name is Brandon Gilbert. He has his own tea companies. He has Hyperion Herbs, which has great tonic herbs, and he also has some really good different types of tea. The thing is, it's going to be premium price because you know for sure that what he's giving you is good because it's straight out of his own collection. He sells only things that he'll drink. Go and subscribe to his channel, his main channel, if you haven't already, and check out what he has to say about a lot of teas. So pu'er is good. I would look on Amazon for pu'er. See if you can get a small amount. What else? Sencha is generally good, but you got to learn how to brew it properly. A lot of oolong is pretty good, particularly Wu Yi Mountain Oolong. I love that stuff. It's real good. I mean, it's hard for me to tell you where to buy good teas from at a bargain, but I can tell you what type of teas that are good. Also, yerba mate is great, and it'll make you feel pretty good. I think Rosamonte is a great tea brand. I think Nativas has some good tea. Particularly Rosamonte's red and black package. Then there's Echo Teas, which is okay. Guayarqui's roasted traditional is pretty good. I know shit tons of yerba mates, so I know that the ones I mentioned are pretty mainstream. But Canarius is all right. What else? There's another one. It starts with a T. I think it's Tarate. I forget. So yeah, sorry I couldn't really help you too much on that one. Okay, Jazz L. Vitamin D. All right, I will check that out. Sorry, last question. No, ask. Don't ever be sorry for asking me questions. I can do this all day. Ask me as many questions as you want. As many questions as you have. So, do you recommend any workout programs by anyone? No real goal, just want to look and feel better overall. Thank you so much. I hear people swear by the starting strength or all pro workout. No. Okay. So actually, I was going to actually recommend a program earlier when I was answering your question, but I got sidetracked. There are many different programs I can recommend, and starting strength is not one of them. If you do starting strength, you need to keep in mind the only purpose for starting strength is a light program to get you used to lifting weights, okay? But it's not optimal. Typically, when I've coached my athletes in the past, I've gone most of my athletes. So I was coaching one guy, and he started off with he could hardly even squat 135 pounds, and I got him to squat 325 within 3 months. And then his deadlift went from like 285 pounds for one rep to 450 for one rep within like 6 months. And then his bench press went from like 135 to like 250 within 6 months. And those are considered intermediate numbers. Typically, most people can't even get that in 1 year. And I just did that with, well, of course, I study all sorts of strength science, so using a good trainer, it makes sense. But I'll tell you, Mark Rippetoe is not going to be the good one. So if you're trying to build muscle and get rid of skinny fatness, I mean, Mark Rippetoe's, I don't know if you know this, but he recommends a gallon of milk a day for building muscle. He's not a good idea, although his books can help teach you proper form. What I recommend as far as a program, so if your goal is powerlifting, a really good structured program to follow would be 531. And in particular, you want to actually read the book Beyond 531. The reason why is because it outlines 531, the basic program, and then it has all of the accessory programs on top of that. The problem is 531 by itself is just to increase strength and get PRs, which is essential for building muscle. You need an accessory program on top of that, which outlines multiple ones. So if you really want a good book and a good program to follow for exercise, I recommend Beyond 531 and following the basic 531. If you have a iPhone, you can actually download the 531 app, which does all the math for you. But there's a lot of really scammy 531 apps. The one I recommend is like a red logo. It's really basic. It's free, and it's ad supported. But overall, you don't even need following a program is essential, but just get good form. Okay, make sure you're doing squats, make sure you're doing deadlifts, make sure you're doing bench press, and then do dumbbell rows, cable rows. Um, if you really want like a comprehensive guide to the different exercises and how to do them and the types, you have the Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, but it's a huge book. Just watch videos of people doing these movements to learn the movements. And keep in mind, volume is a main driver of hypertrophy. So volume is basically the more work you do, like the more reps, the more sets you do, the more muscle you'll build over time. You want to combine high volume with progressive overload. Progressive overload just means you're getting stronger every single week. And getting stronger isn't just limited to how much weight you're moving. It also means, how many reps of that weight you're doing, how many sets. So the more work you do, the more muscle you'll build, but you want to slowly build up the amount of work you're building over time. So again, like I said, 5-3-1, the basic 5-3-1 program, along with something like boring but big, or joker sets, and then first set last is the accessory movements to combine with that. But you could follow just like any basic bodybuilding routine on top of 5-3-1. And you should experience great gains. Another thing that I like, but probably isn't really relevant to your situation, is something called Greasing the Groove by somebody called Paweł Palvetto or something. He's a Russian strength coach, coached many Olympic athletes, and he advocates something called Greasing the Groove. He wrote a book called Power to the People, and that's something that I kind of follow since I'm doing MMA and powerlifting, and it just advocates lifting up to like a heavy max every single day and practicing the movement and not doing too much reps and shit. But yeah, I recommend you just follow 5-3-1 and then a basic bodybuilding program. I'll probably make a video on 5-3-1 just to explain it so that you can kind of like get an idea of it. So I'll make a video on 5-3-1 in the future. I have my girlfriend running 5-3-1, and it's like a modified 5-3-1 program for powerlifting. She's going to compete in powerlifting in December, and I'm combining it with accessory movements that I specifically wrote for her. So high volume bodybuilding and whatnot on top of that. So yeah, I know it's kind of complicated, but hopefully 5-3-1 with bodybuilding on top. A couple sets of chest press, couple sets of overhead press, on your upper body days, a couple sets of rows, a couple sets of bicep curls, a couple sets of tricep extensions, just lift more weights over time every week. And then like your lower body days, leg extensions, and general lower body bodybuilding movements. That'll give you good results. So yeah, hope that answered your question. Go ahead and answer any more. I love answering questions. And if you need any specific recommendations beyond that, let me know. So again, everybody watching this, ask your questions. Don't be afraid. Ask me as many questions as you have, and ask me what you want to ask me. Anything. I'll answer anything. Absolutely anything. All right, the sheriff. Never tried pu'er tea before, but it sounds intriguing. Yeah, I mean, pu'er tea is great. It's something I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite teas. Hey, can you react to my latest video on YouTube? Zorge Studios. Almost thought it was George. No, I can't react to it. Not on this live stream. Let's see. But I love practicing Muay Thai by Zorge Studios. Okay, so I love practicing Muay Thai as well. Hold on. I'm just going to go to the gym alone. Athlete Next is a great resource, just so you know. But not for strength gain. But yeah, he's a good resource. I like him a lot. So I love practicing Muay Thai. I love Muay Thai as well. I don't know if I'd believe that I need some kind of proof. American Top Team is great. That's where you train. If you have, show me some videos. Do you have an Instagram? I post an Instagram of some of my training, even though I don't really post most of my MMA training. I love practicing power cleans. I do too. I practice power cleans every single day, pretty much, almost on top of MMA training. Lately, my power clean form has sucked complete absolute dick just because I haven't been practicing it as much because I've been focusing mainly on Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. I've been doing full contact kickboxing since 2016. And I've been sparring at least once, for a while because I was so busy with other things. I was sparring like once every other week, but I try to make it at least once a week with different people from different styles. Pretty much all of my best friends are veteran martial artists. I have a friend. I'm not going to name his name on a live stream, but he's been teaching Krav Maga for like 4 years, which I don't recommend Krav Maga at all. He taught karate since he was a kid. He's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Just recently he started doing MMA, and he also joined the police force. So he's been a bouncer for like, I don't know, the last 5 years. And he's taught me a lot. He's the one who really got me into my first legit martial arts school. I did legitimate Shaolin Kung Fu from the Shaolin Temple, not the fake Shaolin Do crap. Not that it really matters. I know Shaolin is not what you really want to be doing if you want to learn how to fight. But my teacher also had an extensive background in boxing and knife fighting and military martial arts. And so he brought us to like knife fighting seminars. He taught us basic Dan and Santo Filipino knife fighting and empty hand, taught us Wing Chun. He taught us some Sanda, which was a core part of the curriculum. Sanda is basically kickboxing, full contact kickboxing with takedowns. Okay. And so there's a lot of clinch. There's a lot of throws and hip tosses and suplex and stuff. And so it's like kickboxing with wrestling. And that was like, we do kickboxing, a full day of kickboxing once a week. We did sparring once a week on the weekends. And then we did, Shaolin stuff like body conditioning, like iron bone, where we'd hang from a pull-up bar and people would punch us and kick us. And I hated that, honestly, but I like it a lot now. And we did like joint manipulation, like Chin Na or whatever. And like the katas, the forms, Shaolin forms, which was, he made us do that. Different Qigong and meditation exercises and things, which was really good for your overall health. And I'm glad I learned that now since I'm in tonic herbalism and whatnot. But then, so I did that for 4 years from 2012. Wait a second. Oh, I did that for 2 years? What the fuck? I thought it was 4 years. So I did that from 2012 to 2014. I thought I did it much longer than that. So I did it for 2 years. What the fuck? I thought it was 4 years. I've been, what the hell? So I did Shaolin for 2 years then, 2012 to 2014. I did karate for quite a long time. I learned all the basics, the forward stance, all the different punches and the blocks and whatnot. I learned great front kicks from that, and side kicks, which I use very effectively now in my kickboxing training. My full contact kickboxing. Sorry, I'm going on and on, not even paying attention to the questions. But I've been doing full contact kickboxing now since I stopped, because I remember fighting my friend who's a Chinese medicine doctor and has a background in Muay Thai. And I didn't even know how to block a front kick. My friend would literally just lunge at me with a front kick. And I would try to Wing Chun him. I tried to block it with like Wing Chun blocks, and it never worked. And it got really frustrating. It got frustrating because my friend would literally just he would back away like 5 feet from me and then do like a lunging front kick to me. And of course I could just run away the whole time, but like that's boring. Like karate point sparring where you're just like constantly at a distance from each other and lunging at each other. So I got tired of him like owning me with a front kick I couldn't block. So I learned, it was a teep kick. So I learned Muay Thai. I started learning Muay Thai. I started getting really good at like K1 and Glory style full contact kickboxing. Started sparring every week. I would find random people from Gold's Gym that looked like they did martial arts or wore a shirt or were on the heavy bag. And I'd start trying to arrange sparring with them. And I would film my sparring, and I would learn how to what mistakes I was making. And over time, I got really good at that. And then I would train with my friends who teach martial arts. I have friends that did full contact ITF and Olympic style Taekwondo for 7 years. He's a second-degree black belt, and his school also taught jujitsu. He was a purple belt in jujitsu, and so he taught me a lot of great full contact stuff. My friend who did the Krav Maga and karate, he's a bouncer, yada yada, taught me a lot of amazing stuff. And then, eventually I was like, you know what? The more I spar, the better I are. The more you spar, the better you are. I need to just go to a real MMA school. So I started going to a real MMA school and being real serious about it. I've been doing Muay Thai like anywhere from 4 to 8 times a week. I'll do a lot of 2-a-days. And then lately, I've been going to a school that teaches Muay Thai. They teach jiu-jitsu. They have a wrestling class, and they have several different sparring classes and everything. They got fitness classes, but I do my own like strength and conditioning. And it's been great. It's been tiring though, but ketogenic diet's been helping me get through it. So let me read. Okay, I will look all of this up. Thank you. Jazel says, I don't have anyone to show proper form. I think I'm just going to the gym alone. Okay, I highly recommend looking at Athlete X's videos. He's a great resource. Don't worry about going to the gym alone. I have videos on that I mentioned this briefly. Don't worry about other people or what people think about you or anything like that. Focus all on your goals. You should never get caught up in the thoughts of other people. Get motivated, find whatever like motivates you internally. Zorge Studios, my friend owns an American Top Team gym. Yeah, like I said, I mean, so I love American Top Team. Damn, I think my router just fell. What the hell? Damn it. So let me know if you guys can still see me because my router just fell. I don't know if it disconnected me, but American Top Team's cool. I follow Phil Daru. Phil Daru. Phil Daru is like a strength and conditioning coach that actually trains a lot of UFC fighters like Junior Dos Santos, Dustin Poirier, and he trained Dustin Poirier for his recent fight where he won the championship from Max Holloway. And who else does he train? Man, he trains a bunch of top level wrestlers and judo fighters and boxers, and he trains for American Top Team. He's a trainer for them. American Top Team is cool, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not really like far fetched to have a friend that owns a gym, like a great MMA gym. Like I don't know why, but that's badass. I love American Top Team, so that's where I train. I don't really post training. My friend does. Okay, Cade KO. Cool. I'll check him out. Zorge Studios. I fucking love martial arts. It's like one of my greatest passions. And I feel like I have a natural talent for striking. So that's why I love doing it. Did you watch the Rose Namajunas fight yesterday? I caught the replay and just briefly. That was pretty fascinating. Well, actually, I just saw the knockout. So it's crazy. It's crazy how the titles will change when you least expect it. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't really watch that fight. I just caught some of the highlights and the results. I'll tell you what really surprised me though recently was Michael Venom Page getting knocked out. I mean, to be honest with you, it should have been only a matter of time because, like MVP, he's got that karate style and he pretty much damn near killed Cyborg Santos with that flying knee. You get deadly precision and timing from point sparring if you know how to apply it to full contact. I used to be the type of guy that always talked shit about karate. Oh, it doesn't work in a fight. It's point sparring. It's flappy kick nonsense. But some people can really use it efficiently. I think MVP is probably the best full contact karate fighter in the modern era. I think Lyoto Machida and people don't know Bas Rutten was actually a Kyokushin black belt. And he's actually doing commentary for Karate Combat now. And also Georges St-Pierre, one of my favorite fighters of all times. They're all veteran karate fighters, and they do great. But Michael Venom Page getting knocked out by a basic leg kick, that was some shit right there. It just goes to show you, you can have all this fancy karate footwork and I'm Michael Venom Page, and then that's not enough. You get knocked out, right? I mean, it happened within like the first 20 seconds of the fight. It was just a really well-timed leg kick because Michael Venom Page, he has that karate footwork. For me, I'm flat-footed. I don't even have a rhythm. Maybe I should. My Muay Thai coach says I need to walk on coals. But Michael Venom Page, you should be able to predict his timing. He does a lot of feints and stuff, but he comes in and feints. So you'll see he comes in, comes back, jump, jump, comes in, comes back, jump, jump. And what this guy did was he timed the coming in, and he timed it perfectly. And that's what you got to do to stop the karate fighter. You got to, the fact that Michael Venom Page is such an amazing counter striker, and he got countered with a basic leg kick that was just well timed. Get good at the basics, even though I'm the type of guy who does spinning back fist, countering, and all sorts of crazy shit. And my coaches tell me I need to work more on basic stuff. So whatever. Would it be stupid to get a personal trainer to show me proper form for 1 or 2 lessons, then do 5-3-1 on my own as a noob? Or should I just teach myself as I go along? Jazz L. So listen, having a coach is amazing. And I think that for some people, a coach is essential. For a lot of people, though, it's not really. It just kind of helps them get motivated. I don't think it's stupid at all. The thing is, and this is the thing that kind of sucks, Jazz L, is that there's a lot of horrible trainers, especially at commercial gyms. And I hated going to Gold's and seeing this big muscular trainer teaching his clients how to deadlift, and they're like old men. And he's teaching them broke back deadlift form with super lightweight, but still they're deadlifting super wrong. It's horrible. And if they had any amount of weight on there at all, they'd break their back. And he's like, yeah, good form. Like, never do it the proper way. This is the good way. You gotta be careful. There's a lot of bad trainers out there. So you should probably join a gym for a while, look at how they train, and then compare it to videos of those same exercises and see if it looks right. And then learn from there. Maybe get an independent trainer that has a lot of good results. Personally, I like powerlifting coaches because they focus so much on form. And honestly, I don't recommend CrossFit at all. And I think it's overpriced and they're notorious for injuries. But I know there's a lot of CrossFit gyms that have personal therapists that have physical therapists, like doctors practically on the staff that work for them. And there's a lot of CrossFit trainers and CrossFit athletes that are physical trainers, physical therapists. And so they can teach you proper form, and they do a lot of videos on YouTube. One resource I like in particular is, what the fuck is his name? Greg? No. He has a book, Becoming a Supple Leopard, and he has a website called Mobility WOD, and he teaches a lot of great form and stuff like that. But I would recommend just watch videos on YouTube, form videos, and record yourself doing the form and try to work on your form every time. The first 2 months, you should focus entirely on practicing form and videotaping yourself and watching videos of good form. For squats, you want to watch Olympic lifters. For deadlifts, Olympic lifters and power lifters are great. For bench press, that's a hard one because powerlifting bench press is pretty like hardcore. But arching your back is essential. Let's see. I like Clarence Kennedy for squats. I like Dmitry Klokov for squats, and they do deadlifts too. You can look up some of their videos. I'm into hardcore stuff, so. But getting a trainer is going to be hard. That's going to be hard to find a good trainer. If you get the wrong trainer, you're going to waste your money. So that's a hard one. It's just like finding a good doctor or finding a good nutritionist, finding a good therapist. I'm sorry. I wish that I could help you. The only thing I could say is it's probably better for, I wish I could show you better form, honestly. But record your own form and try to tweak it from there. Zorge Studios, meditation is key. I agree with you. Meditation has a lot of powerful benefits, which I could discuss if I ever run out of questions. It's been 2 hours now, and I'm still going strong. What is Glenn Graham? What is your name? Wolfgang. Wolfgang is my name. Wolfgang is the game. Wolfgang is my real name. Okay, Wolfgang is my name. It's my birth name. It's always been my name. Here in America, it's a very uncommon name. I've only met like 5 other people with the name Wolfgang. It's a German name. It's very common in Germany. Yeah, Wolfgang is my name. Follow me on Instagram. Wolfgang is God. Thank you very much. And I must warn you guys, my power cleans that I posted recently suck. I used to have much better form, but I haven't practiced the front rack mobility in quite some time. So yeah, don't be scared of that. And also I'm doing a lot of diet experiments. Zorge Studios, honestly, people don't think that it helps at all, but it really does. I don't remember what I was talking about at that time. Glenn Graham, should we avoid restaurants? And if we do, damn, there's a lot of good questions coming up. Sorry if I'm taking so long, you guys, but enjoy my answers anyway. Should we avoid restaurants? And if we do, won't that interfere with social life? Should we avoid restaurants? Should we avoid restaurants? And if we do, won't that interfere with social life? Also, how do you recommend avoiding preaching about nutrition? That's an amazing question. So, Glenn Graham, avoiding restaurants. So I went for a very long time where I would only eat organic food. I would only eat grass-fed animal products, and I was vegan for a while where I wouldn't eat at restaurants because I didn't want them to spike my food with animal products, right? What I found is it's so hard to live life that way. It's not necessary to avoid restaurants. It's not even necessary to buy like 100% organic. Health outcomes just not going to be drastically different, as long as the overall theme of your diet is healthy. And it depends on what type of health protocol you're following. What do you believe in? Do you believe that animal products are the cause of all disease? Do you believe that carbohydrates are the main cause? Do you believe that it's the pesticides and herbicides, yada, yada? So what I found is the stress of avoiding restaurants is not worth the, occasional vegetable oil or whatever that you might find in restaurants. As long as you intentionally avoid most of the negative food additives, as long as you avoid the vegetable oil, you avoid the sugar, and you eat foods that like the type of food is good for you. Pretty much anything that is on the Primal Blueprint pyramid is going to be good for most people. Some people are intolerant to grains, so like whole grains and whatnot. I myself am. So as long as you stick to the healthy food types and you don't go overboard and whatnot, going to a restaurant's not going to hurt you. And it's stressful to be out and about and then have trouble finding food. I can't begin to explain how many times I'd be traveling or it'd be late at night and me and my girlfriend want something to eat really bad. And we just finished a hardcore workout in the middle of the night, which I don't know why I used to do that, but I did. Then we go to like our local supermarket that's open 24 hours, and they have sushi. And the sushi has like carbon monoxide and food coloring added to their fish. And we're like just super hungry, and we know the sushi will be perfect for us. But I'm like, no, we can't eat that because it has carbon monoxide and it doesn't need that. And it's stupid that they added that. Why can't they just have regular food? What the fuck? It's not even worth it. Like, I would have felt so much better if I would have just eaten that sushi versus avoiding the sushi because of I'm scared of these additives and shit that don't even matter that much. So, yeah. And then like interfering with social life. Like, yeah, again, like, is like if you're hanging out with, okay, so how do you recommend avoiding preaching about nutrition? That's another like amazing question because I love talking about nutrition. If you couldn't tell, I've been doing it for the last 2 hours and I didn't even realize it's been that long. And I've got to take an amazing piss right now. I've got to go pee so bad, but I don't give a fuck. I love talking about nutrition and answering people's questions and helping motherfuckers out. But essentially, if you're hanging out with people that don't want to hear what you have to say, what you're happy and passionate about, maybe you don't belong hanging out with those people. Maybe you need better friends. It depends. So I don't recommend avoiding preaching about nutrition. What I recommend is like, so you have people that really care, and you have people that will kind of just listen to you just because like they are bitches basically, and they don't know how to communicate their values. They don't know how to tell you, hey, I don't care, or they don't know how to like change the subject. So they'll just like let you talk even though they don't care. And then you have people who really care, or people that really want to know, or they have a health problem, or they asked you maybe. The people that really want to know about nutrition, let it all out. If they're asking you questions, let it all out. Don't hold back. If it's like for example, my mom, like I had dinner with her or lunch with her today with her and my girlfriend, my brother, for Mother's Day. My mom, like she'll act like she's interested, but then as soon as I start to tell her what she needs to hear, she just completely blocks it out. She gets all like crazy and freaks out. So I just I stopped trying because some people cannot tolerate like hearing about nutrition advice so much that they'll freak out and they'll literally have a panic attack and freak out at you. They'll have a rage attack. My mom will do that. Crazy enough. Anyway, sometimes it's just not worth it's not worth it. It's probably more beneficial to go by the idea when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. You cannot you can lead a horse to the river, but you can't force it to drink. And if they want to be unhealthy, then that's their problem. But what I highly recommend is like, as far as social life, if people have a problem with you eating a healthy diet, so if you go out to eat like at a pizza restaurant and you're on a keto diet, for example, dude, you can just eat the cheese off there. There'll probably be some trace amounts of sugar in the sauce, but you know that you could do that. Or if you're vegan, you could order a vegan pizza, right? Or if you know, if you believe that you have to eat organic and whatnot, it's not going to kill you to eat conventional, especially just once in a while. Personally, I think the only disease that pesticides and herbicides and these things can contribute to would be maybe if you eat an extreme amount of conventional foods. I think maybe gut dysbiosis from the antibiotics in the animal products, but I think cancer possibly can be influenced by pesticides, herbicides, antibiotic use, and hormones in the food. But I'm gonna tell you right now, from what I've been seeing, because I'm no longer. I used to be super orthorexic where I could not eat at a restaurant, but now I realize you could live to be 100 years old. There's people that are 100 years old. They eat ice cream. They smoke cigarettes. There's more to health. I don't think it's genetics. I think there's more to health than just eating perfect. And the stress of eating perfect will kill you. So it's not worth it. Hope that answered your question, Glenn Graham. Zorge Studios, nice. Nate Diaz has one of those gyms in Stockton. My friends started going, that's cool. I love Nate Diaz and Nick Diaz. The Diaz brothers are great. And I think Nate Diaz owned Connor. And the only reason why Nate Diaz lost in their second fight is because I think he broke his foot or broke his knee or something. He had a severe injury like a couple days before the fight. Um, Not to say Connor sucks. I think Connor's great, but I think Nate Diaz would have won that fight if he was 100%. Jazz L, nice. I did study an Indonesian. I did study an Indonesian martial art called Katida as a child for a while. Shaolin is great. That's cool. Interesting. I've never heard of Katida, and I agree. I think Shaolin's a great comprehensive program. I have a book? I have a book somewhere. I was reading it the other day. Damn it! It should be over here somewhere. It was here, but I have a book on Shaolin Kung Fu as well. That is good. It is a great comprehensive program. Teaches you everything you need to know. Jazz. So the sheriff is telling Jazz, I learned through YouTube videos on how to train and perform lifts, but it's a much longer process than just hiring a trainer. Yeah, the sheriff, honestly, I became an athletic coach for quite, and I was self-taught. If you look at my videos, like you look at my form, not my recent videos on my YouTube, on my Instagram, because I haven't been practicing as much. My deadlift, my clean and jerk, my snatch, my squat, all my lifts, my bench press. I learned from watching YouTube videos too, but it took me a long time because at first I didn't want to believe like my bad form is actually bad. So if you have to really know what is good form and what is not. It's very easy to be deceived. But I learned through YouTube videos too, through a long process of trial and error, really videotaping myself, performing the lifts, and then watching videos on YouTube is essential. And you can learn a lot of martial arts too from YouTube videos, as long as you videotape yourself and as long as you spar. As long as you spar, you have to spar. The more you spar, the better you are. But I agree with you, the sheriff. So Zorge Studios, it was crazy. Rose was winning the whole fight. Then Andrade pulled a Ben Askren, and oh my God, that MVP disappointed me. Yeah, that was some shit. Honestly, I wouldn't say it was MVP's fault. I think it was the other guy just is a smart motherfucker. I mean, because to the average person, you see MVP doing all this fancy shit and having all these phenomenal knockouts in his career, and he's unstoppable. But then he suddenly just gets knocked out by a leg kick and then an uppercut. So the average person might think, "Oh wow, that was too easy." Like all along, it just took a leg kick. But to somebody who's been doing martial arts for a long time, like I saw, his opponent was looking at his footwork, and he just was paying attention to the timing and the rhythm of MVP going in and out. And then he just timed that leg kick as soon as MVP went in. And it's all about timing. The basics are amazing for that. Cat the Crack Corn, but I don't care, says, wish I could get into self-defense. Nothing offered where I live. 2 gyms, but no self-defense class. Okay, Kathy Crack Corn, I'm going to be honest with you. Self-defense classes are probably not the best idea because in order to actually defend yourself, you must know how to perform basic martial arts under pressure. In my opinion, the best thing you can do for self-defense is join a jiu-jitsu gym or honestly, in particular, learning MMA. The reason why is because MMA teaches distance. It teaches they spar on at least once a week. And for beginners who don't really want to get hurt and whatnot, they'll go light. You don't have to be a competitive fighter. Most gyms, they prefer to spar light so they avoid injury. But they practice striking, they practice wrestling, and they practice fighting up against a wall, up against a cage. Typically in self-defense situations, you'll be pushed up against a wall or something like that, especially if you're a woman. And learning MMA will teach you how to overcome a bigger opponent despite that. Because up against the wall, you're going to learn clinching. You're going to be using clinching and judo and wrestling. And those are all things that a woman can overtake a bigger opponent with, because it's not really a strength thing, even though strength matters. So they teach the ground fighting, they teach wall fighting, they teach grappling in general, they teach striking of all kinds. So MMA is a great thing for self-defense. If you just learn self-defense, you're probably going to be pretty vulnerable. Everyone thinks like, oh, self-defense, like it's, there's no rules on the street. Listen, if I can see in MMA, you practice head movement. Okay, you practice dodging punches. Okay, if I can dodge a boxer, and if I could dodge a boxer's fast hands, if I could dodge a boxer's jab, what makes you think I can't dodge like an average criminal's eye poke or whatever? Okay, or like a kick to the groin. Okay, a kick to the crotch, right? A dick kick. In Muay Thai, you learn basic leg kick blocking. Okay, checking kicks. Okay, a kick to the dick is literally going to be blocked the same way a kick to the leg is. As soon as I see the person kicking towards my groin, I'm just going to assume it's a leg kick and block it the same way. People who think, oh, strikes to the groin make a huge difference, like they do. You get kicked in the groin, it's some shit. That's why it's illegal in MMA. But you're not going to be able to kick me in the dick if I know how to block it all. If I block it already, it's not going to matter if I train Muay Thai or self-defense. I'm blocking the same way. Same thing with an eye poke. You try to poke me in the eye, I'm gonna dodge it or block it the same way I would a punch to the face. Fighters get punched in the eye all the time. Okay, it's just funny to me. Anyway, yeah. So MMA is much better. So yeah. Most commercial gym trainers just give cookie cutter advice anyways. If you have no athletic background, piss poor posture and coordination, a life coach might be necessary. I agree with you, the Sheriff. The Sheriff Squat University on YouTube and Instagram. I think I have them on Instagram. Has informative lift demo and advice for entries. Steffi Cohen also posts a lot of informational posts on forum with squat, bench press, and deadlift. But you're right, Squat University is good too. Jazz L, no thank you. This is helpful. So if I go solo, should I use the barbell without weights first for a while to get proper form? Yeah, don't worry about people staring at you, Jazz L. And yes, use the barbell. But for deadlifts though, the thing is, if you try to lift a barbell, I have my barbell right here. I could be teaching you guys how to squat on fucking film, right? The thing is, with deadlifts, you want to start off with deadlifts around like on your shin, basically, like near your shin. So basically you do what's called a rack pull. The reason why is because without weights, the deadlift is going to be so low to the ground that you're going to be like hunched over. So you're going to be like hunched over because it's not natural to lift the deadlift from that low, if you understand what I'm saying. So having weights on the bar, like 45-pound weights, puts the bar up to your shins where you can actually lift it in a mechanically superior position for your back. Unless you're doing deficit deadlifts, of course. But yeah, so do rack deadlifts with that. Anyway, yeah, start with just the bar. Don't let me overcomplicate things. And you don't have to do barbell deadlifts either. You could do dumbbell deadlifts and whatnot. Follow a basic fitness channel even. You'll get a lot of interesting things. Even though fitness people suck with advice and form and all sorts of shit. Chris Jones, Physiques of Greatness, Pump Chasers. He's got a lot of good resources and whatnot. So Pump Chasers is a good YouTube channel to check out, just for general weight training advice and whatnot. You know who else is a great fitness channel? A great powerlifting channel? Dude, the strongest powerlifter in the world, Vegan Gains. How could I forget? You want to learn how to lift? Fucking go and subscribe to Vegan Gains channel. Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah. Man, that guy has had so many injuries since he started. And then he's trying to tell people how to lift properly. It's fucking hilarious. Let's see. Just I'll just tell them to let me lift my pussy weight in peace. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh fuck yeah, the sheriff. You know what's up? Uh, Brian Aslery or whatever. Not Brain Aslery, but Brian. Yeah, Brian Al. I don't know how to say his name. He's cool, and apparently he was following a ketogenic diet for a while too. I've never heard of Zap Strength. Hodgkin's videos. Listen, Hodgkin's are entertaining as hell, but a lot of their health advice and their fitness advice, and even a lot of their fitness advice. Well, their fitness advice is okay. Please be careful. Take everything you see with a grain of salt, especially from the Hodgkins, because they're more of like entertainers. They're more like bros. Okay. By the way, you guys, I need to go pee really bad. I've been holding it in for the last hour. So if you have any questions at all, like anything you've been very curious about, even about the nature of reality, go ahead and post those questions and comments while I go and take a pee. You can give me a long list of questions to answer, whatever the case, because I gotta go pee real quick. But ask me your questions for when I get back from pee. All right, I gotta go pee. Damn, son. Alrighty then, let's see what we got. Let's see. Yeah. All right, cool. No more questions, you guys? Any questions we got here? I also need a little bit of water too. Man, I'm hungry too. Let's see. Traditional Chinese medicine talks about healing the spirit, body, and mind. Okay, that's a good question. Okay, Glenn Graham says traditional Chinese medicine talks about healing the spirit, body, and mind. Okay, so again, I actually have a best friend who I hang out with like on a regular basis, and I've been friends with since 2014. So for like what, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years now. And he's a Chinese medicine doctor. He actually has his own like little clinic and whatnot. So I know a lot about Chinese medicine. Actually, I have the book. One of the books he gave me for my birthday, The Complete Guide to Chinese Medicine, is literally right here. Hold up. So just so you all know, I read so much, you guys. I read everything. I don't know if you can see this, but it's the complete book of Chinese health and healing. Super thick, just like I like it. Okay, Jazz L, have a good day. Glad I could help you. So I know a lot about Chinese medicine, the spirit, body, and mind. So first of all, I'm very pro science. I have a lot of ideas that are outside of the spectrum of science. I think most of the concepts in Chinese medicine are very applicable, but I think a lot of it is overcomplicated and not and there's simpler systems, such as like Western science is much easier to understand. Anyway, Shen, Jing, and Qi. Shen, Jing, and Qi, which is typically one of the main metaphors they use for spirit, body, and mind. So let's see. So in Chinese medicine, you have Jing. Okay, there's millions of different interpretations of Jing, and in fact, Brandon Gilbert, again, check out his channel. He talks a lot about this and has videos on Jing and whatnot. But he has really like broad perspective, broad explanation or description of Jing. But Jing you could think of as the candle. Okay, so imagine a candle. Jing is like the candle, right? It's like the wax. Jing is like the body, but not really, okay? But Jing is like the wax. It's the foundation in which all of your life is rested upon and all of your health is rested upon. And then Qi is like the flame, okay? Qi is like the flame on the candle, okay? So you have Jing, which is a candle. Qi is like the flame on the candle, and then Shen is the heat that's radiating off of that heat that the candle is producing. It's the heat that's radiating off of the flame. So in Chinese medicine, Jing tonics, they tend to boost your deepest energy reserves. So for example, Jing tonics, like, it's a good Jing tonic. Obviously you have Reishi, but Rishi's a triple treasure tonic. Black sesame seeds. Man, I used to be really into Chinese medicine. It's been a long time. Eggs are considered a Jing tonic. Any kind of seed or birthing type food is considered a Jing tonic. Obviously, you have Reishi, you have Romagna. Goddamn, I consider horny goatweed a Jing tonic. And then Qi would be like your energy. So Jing is kind of like your relaxation. It's like your recovery. It's like your basic fundamental energy. You can think of it as like your actual material being if you want to. But essentially it's your sexual essence as well. Qi is like your energy. Qi is the energy that flows through the body, that flows through your Jing. Qi is energy that is built from Jing. Okay, this is the way Chinese medicine should be interpreted: is Jing is the foundation, Qi is the energy that's built from this foundation, and then Shen is the effects that this energy is producing. So Jing is like your physical ability to recover and create things in the world. Qi is the energy that is creating those things in the world. And then Shen are the things that are being created in the world. So that's the way to look at Chinese medicine. Jing is the foundation of all your life. Qi is the energy that is creating that life. And then Shen is the things outside of you that are being created from your energy. And that's basically what they mean, spirit, body, etc. Yin and yang. So yin and yang, that's deep. Let me see. Made by Ruben. And by the way, Made by Ruben, I see you comment on a lot of my videos. I want to let you know I appreciate your input all the time. Thank you very much for all of your comments that I've seen so far. I really appreciate it. You ever taken forskolin, and would you? Okay, so first of all, I have actually researched forskolin, but not by a significant degree. I believe forskolin is used, is it for thyroid or for weight loss? And also, I believe it has it's some kind of. Some people believe it might be possibly be used a nootropic in some way, um, or and then boosting testosterone as well. There was a bunch of kind of like anecdotal claims I was reading on Reddit about it, and I'm not sure, but I think it also has something to do with AMPK. Oh, okay. So I was right. So it has something to do with like weight loss and testosterone. I think I've seen AMPK. It's supposed to like increase AMPK, sort of like anostemma. Um, yeah. So I haven't taken it, but I've kind of like seen a little bit of it. Uh, CellTep stack for cognition. So forskolin is part of a CellTep stack, right? Is that the case? Because I had actually thought about taking CellTep back in January when I first got into biohacking and whatnot, but I never tried it. So the sheriff says yin and yang energy, another way to describe it. So yin and yang. So obviously yin is like, so okay, well it depends on what you mean. If you're talking about like kidney yin versus kidney yang, it all kind of plays in the same concepts. So essentially, if you understand yin and yang in any context, it'll apply the same way for Chinese medicine. Yin and yang is, so yin is tiredness, yin is relaxation, yin is hibernation, yin is cold, yin is feminine, yin is inside, yang is outside. Yang is manly, it's aggressive. Yin is passive. Yang is hot. It's active. Um, Sitting down and breathing is yang. Going out and lifting weights is yang. Wait a second. Sitting down and breathing is yin. Going out and lifting weights is yang. I don't think I really need to explain it any further than that. So let's see. Kathy crack corn, but I don't care. What's with the seeds and rice they collect for New Year's? Chinese, they have a feast of some sort. I've never heard of that. I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know. Never heard of that, honestly. But Chinese New Year is, I believe, in the middle of February. Well, it's in the middle of January and the middle of February. I have gone to a lot of Chinese New Year celebrations. Um, I used to go every Chinese New Year to the Asian festival with my Shaolin class, and they would perform their Tai Chi and whatnot live for everyone, and we would eat a bunch of Chinese food, and I go with my friend, my martial arts buddies, and also me and my girlfriend these days, we go to our favorite Asian buffet, and they love us. They know us there. They always give us what we want. They always know what we want, and we go there and we'll celebrate Chinese New Year. I never see any collection of rice or anything. But maybe because I'm not Chinese, I guess. I've never heard of it though. Even my seafood never mentioned anything like that. So listen, guys, I'm really really hungry. So it seems like the questions have kind of died down a bit. I'm gonna end the live stream right now. My girlfriend should be coming home soon. It would be cool if she kind of just came home and got up on the live stream. I don't know where she should be coming home from work by now. But I guess she's not going to be part of this live stream. So this has been a very awesome, successful live stream. I appreciate all of you guys that have been watching, especially if you've been watching from beginning to end. Go ahead and watch my video about vegan gains if you haven't already, where I expose this LDL nonsense. His research. Watch that video if you haven't already. Be prepared for some more vlogs and day of eating videos I've been working on lately. Subscribe to my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. Wolfgang is God on Instagram. And feel free to spark up a conversation anytime. Ask me your questions. Give me some good video ideas. And I will talk to you guys next time.